All right, everybody, welcome to the July product panel. I'm super excited, as always, to be on the panel and with these great panelists and also some amazing people joining us. So I mentioned before, if you wanna say anything or have anything to add, please drop in a comment, or we can give you access to chat. Today, we're going to be talking about CoinMaster's recent live ops successes. We're going to go over the feature, we're going to go over the insights, we're actually going to go over the marketing quickly, the impact analysis, and then we have some awesome information from Jasmine on the web store. We have a lot to cover today, so I might go a little quick, but before we do, this is all made available thanks to Stash, and it will also be recorded and online. Again, thanks to Stash. So before we jump in, Jasmine's going to give a little introduction to Stash.
Thanks, Brett. Hey everyone, I'm Jasmine, leading marketing at Stash. Really excited to be sponsoring our second Liquid and Grit webinar panel. So thanks a lot, Brett and Jennifer, for having us on these. I'll tell you very quickly about Stash and then we can get into all the fun content. So Stash, as you can see here, we're in the direct-to-consumer and web shop space. And what we like to say is it's one thing to build a web shop and it's a whole other thing to grow it. And that's what Stash is really focused on, growing the web shop revenue and adoption and getting players to want to go use it. And we do that in a bunch of different ways. Our loyalty programs are a really great product that we have that is super deeply connected, one of the most robust on the market with VIP stores and in-game missions and a tier system that's all like customed to our customers. You can see the Snowprint one on the right there. Also, our real-time catalog syncing from the game to the web shop, which is also really proprietary to us too. And Stash Pay, which is our newest product that like helps studios take advantage of all of the Apple versus Epic with one-click payments from the game, with that little pop-up thing you can see on the left there. So this is like a bit about our products. If you're interested in growing your D2C revenue or just starting from scratch, you can reach out to me or ask Brett for an intro.
Awesome. Thank you. And great
Yeah,
people. I'm
and
not
great
just
people.
saying that. All right. Thank you, Jasmine. And she's going to talk at the end of this about some web store innovations as well going on with CoinMaster. Today, we're going to go over insights from two reports. Jennifer just dropped them in the chat. They're here in the presentation. We'll also get the presentation available to people as well. We're going to meet the panelists quickly. We're going to go over the impact analysis pretty quickly, and then we're going to jump into event analysis, and that's where we're going to spend most of our time. We're going to go over two events in CoinMaster, two slides on marketing, and then two or three slides on web shop insights. So a ton of stuff to cover. I'm excited. I've got lots of caffeine in me. We're ready to go. Shane's got his Telluride hat. He's fired up. Hopefully lots of caffeine as well. I think you guys all know me by now. Brett Novak. I'm going to be the moderator, CEO, and founder of Liquid and Grit. Egal, new panelist. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
You want
I'm
to give a little background?
yeah, sure, sure. I'm a lead product manager at Playtika. I was at the studio of Solitaire Grand Harvest, and now I'm doing a cross Playtika role of game design, of competitive research, of trends and marketing insights. So we are collecting all the things that work really well in the industry, and we try to see how they can fit into the Playtika portfolio. We break them, we deconstruct them, we understand the flow inside the games of how each event, how each product, how each feature affects all the other ecosystem of the game, and then we recommend to the studios how to implement them. So wonderful topics today. Really, really interesting. CoinMaster is doing a wonderful job in intertwining live ops events. So very, very cool.
And if you don't know, Playtika, one of the best gaming companies in the world, doesn't get enough credit. Shout out to Playtika. Shane, welcome again.
Yeah, quick intro. I've been on the panel a couple of times, but my background, product consultant, growth consultant. I help teams take their live products and find sustainable upside. Also help teams launch new games or apps and or even relaunch apps. And yeah, I work in games, but also in consumer apps. Great to be here.
Awesome. Shane, one of the best. Worked with him a long time. Highly recommend him. All right. Again, I'm going to go a little quick through some of these so we can get to the meat of it. But impact analysis, this is why we're talking about it. After Egg Hunt, CoinMaster's revenue increased by 16%, 5 days over 5 days. And the app achieved a record ARPDAU over this 5 day period. So pretty substantial revenue bump here. The app's previous 5 day record was set in March by Better Together, which we're also going to go over. We using our Lift tool, aggregate the revenue by mechanic and interaction events, which include Better Together, were the best performing event type in social casino in the past year. So they have a median revenue impact of 3.5% and an average of 3.7. And then among the subgenres, coin looters like CoinMaster see the strongest returns in these type of events. Standard deviation is 13.6, so only 15 release counts. Take that into account when you're calculating your impact and your decisions for road mapping. Quest events, which we're going to talk about as well, was the second best performing event type in casino apps. So again, important on an aggregated level. Quests remained relatively rare as well. For those of you who don't know our categorization system, quests are linear paths down like a map type view or map type system. That's what differentiates quests from like missions and challenges. I don't like to wait this long before we get into all the exciting, awesome stuff, but we're going to talk about Egg Hunt, which connects 8 different events. So for those of you who don't know the event, I'm going to quickly go over it, and then you guys jump in. I don't want to listen to myself. I'm not the expert here. You guys are the experts here, but it is important that we go over it. In Coin Masters Egg Hunt, players engage with 8 events that are connected, and the players earn tokens that advance them on the quest map, as I was mentioning. So here from left sort of down to right, these are all the different events that were going on that would reward players with these tokens. So you had a mission event here, which you can see a linear path. You had a streak event, a 1 day battle pass right here, which was super cool. We'll talk about that in detail. I don't know how many 1 day battle passes I've seen, but that's really interesting. I'm pretty excited about chat about that. Win streak event, PvP event, chain offer event. Chain offer has obviously been very popular, impactful, and then a limited time shop. So they went all out here, connecting all of these event types. I dropped in some questions, but feel free to jump in with other thoughts. One thing I'm wondering if you guys have any thoughts on what are some of the biggest challenges when you are unifying live ops events into a single progression. And yeah, I guess we could talk about the 1 day battle pass in a slide or two, but I think that's super interesting. Any thoughts on integrating, connecting different event types?
Yeah, I have some thoughts. I mean, there's a couple of reasons to do it. Some are for the event, and also some are sort of protection reasons. Um, you know, these games now, live ops is such a huge part of the engagement and revenue that when you want to bring something new in, there's potential cannibalization. That's something you always have to be concerned about, or at least consider. So tying it into the other events keeps it relevant, keeps those events relevant, protects some of your downside, but also they're basically little ads for like, oh yeah, there's a big event right now I should be participating in. So in terms of challenges, like trying to protect the streams that you have of revenue engagement, trying to uh, promote this new thing that you want eyeballs on that's potentially tied into your UA campaigns. I think making sure the economics make sense with these rewards as you're distributing them to the different events, that's one challenge. And then I'd say the biggest challenge with these is just the complexity and the lead time to put an event of this scale out.
So first of all, Shane, you're absolutely correct. It's when you have such an event that is overlapping and orchestrating, let's say, even several other events, first of all, you have to have the economy very, very precise and in sync, as you mentioned, because every one of these events that is not fully calibrated with the overlapping event can change the balance, and it's pretty complex to manage all that. Goes without saying that to have such a beautiful orchestra of events, you need to have several different kinds of events to work together. You need to, shoot all the cannons at a very specific time. So the more different events and engagements that you have, it will work better, of course. Having such an event is actually, for the player, it can be really exciting because I feel that I'm doubly rewarded for everything that I'm doing. I'm progressing in a small event, but I also see a bigger progression, almost like another meta layer for this week. So it can really drive engagement. It can really enhance and create a peak of gameplay if you need that. We saw that it made quite an impact in Coin Master's revenue. But also there are some risks maybe that we can take into account. For example, it can make the players feel maybe a little bit stretched out. You feel a really big pressure to participate in everything that is happening in the game. And for some players, it may be too much. And they may feel that, oh, to win this, I'll have to do so many things. So I'm not even going to be engaged in that. It's a bit too much, especially because some of the main progress that to get in this event is from the battle pass, which is super cool, and I guess we will talk about it, but it's a huge chunk and it's paid. So again, it can create for the user a little bit of overwhelming feeling as well. So we need to take it into account.
And that's a great transition to one of the cooler aspects of this feature, and I think this is a video here, yep, is what we call a bet up mechanic. And if you're not familiar with that, basically in the base game, which is the slot machine or the simplified slot machine, bonus, the base game bonus rather, the randomly activates to let players earn event tokens. And players can adjust the multiplier, which I'll show you right down here. It's a little hard to see. Wheel to spend more on each spin and increase the number of tokens awarded by winning lines. So I'm gonna repeat that because that's really the important part of this. So basically, players can come into the base game, which is the core slot machine, and they can adjust a wheel to increase the spend, which will also increase the output of tokens. So that's what we call bet up mechanic in our slots categorization, where you can increase the bet. And obviously there's more variance in downside as well, and more variance in upside. When the bonus is triggered, it adds an egg symbol to the reel and then a multiplier wheel above the spin button. Players then can spend more per spin, as I said, to increase the multiplier and boost the number of tokens awarded for landing the 3 egg symbol in a single spin. So let me see if I can get this going here again. You can see the video here. They're spinning, and it's the boost, super boost is on right here, right there. So there's an example of sort of the multiplier and the ability to increase that while you're playing. At least on my end, it's pretty interesting to see slot machine mechanics like bet ups and bonus games entering the casual market. We've seen this on our side, but at what point do we think that it is like almost genre agnostic and games are basically just like completely overlapping in terms of their mechanics? Here we see slots integrating into casual. Obviously, we've seen core and casual and things like that. Yeah, what thoughts of this feature and thoughts of the overlapping slots mechanics?
These sort of mechanics bleeding into casual has been going on for a while. I've definitely done it in a number of games. I think it can be really powerful. I've seen like amazing results. with integrating these sort of core gambling mechanics. I think some of the benefits are they're pretty intuitive. If you've ever been to a casino, you should know what bet up is. You should know what bonus games are. They're highly, marketed in the casinos, trying to get you to bet max and other things. In terms of, making all the games look the same, I think that's a challenge. I'd say you can see some of the challenges in this screenshot with all the HUD icons. There's a lot going on. But I think, for a live game, especially a game that's been around for a long time, you're trying to grow. You're also trying to retain. There's new games coming out all the time that could steal your players away. So I don't know if you'll turn into a different game, but you may want to try to stay fresh and relevant. And so a lot of these new features, I think, are more targeted at existing players as opposed to new players, and just trying to keep people around, keep them excited, give them reason to show up. But I think, has the game changed or all the games going to look the same? I don't think so. And there's some examples of really successful games, not casino necessarily. I guess Coin Master was an example early on where it was very simple, very focused. But you have other games that have not copied all the different mechanics like Block Blast, Match Factory. Like there's less is more. I still think that's a recipe for success. But when it comes to retention, you got to pull out all the stops.
I fully agree. And I would like to focus a bit on the event itself because they did some beautiful things with this very specific mechanic. First of all, it's one of the few places that I've seen that such an overlapping event is actually tied also to the core. It's not all, you don't get the tokens for the events only from other events, but also, as we see here, from the core itself. And they did something very special on top of that, which is you can only get these tokens from the core 3 times. It's very hard to see here, but on the left, in the little round, in the betap exactly there, you can see that you have a limited times that you can actually win this 3 eggs combo in the reels and get the prize. And you will get it only if you are above a certain bet or a multiplier. So it becomes a huge pressure on the player to bet high. So the KPI for this feature is very clear. They wanted to have something to leverage and drive the players to increase the bet. And it's a very interesting choice to make it just 3 times. And of course, the more you bet, and that's how, as you mentioned, you adjust the wheel, and the more you bet, you will get much more, many more eggs until, there are very high multipliers. So I think what they achieved here is some kind of balance, because betting really high has it has also the drawback that it can really burn your balance of energy or credits or whatever, and it can actually make your session a lot shorter. It can make your experience you burn out in a very few rounds, and you can feel really frustrated. So they are driving the players to bet extremely high, and especially, I imagine, players that have huge balances, they want to use this to burn the balances. But also they limit it. So after 3 times, that's it. So they don't constantly pressure the players to burn their balance. So very interesting mix here. To refer again, just with one sentence to your question, Brett, yeah, it's actually quite a trend currently, these bet multipliers that the game drives you to play with higher bets for events or just from to win more, of course. And also in casual, in our game, for example, in the game that I worked on, Solitaire Grand Harvest, it's a pure casual game, but we also had a similar mechanic in which the more you invest when you go into a level, you will get the rewards multiplied. So It's a very, very, very delicate thing to balance. There are a million things to take into account when you do such a thing, but it can really, really push gameplay. It can really, really push higher bets, and it fits to a very certain demographic and segment of players. Some players, for them, it's makes the game so much more fun and intensive.
It's interesting that they do the limit. I don't know about that. I mean, I was a revenue PM. Shane taught me to always think about the bottom dollar, but I never like to put limits on how much people are willing to spend. I'm interested. I'm
It's
curious why they
mm.
may have done that. Maybe so that they couldn't, they had to interact with the events.
No, I have a theory. I don't know why, but I have a theory. I didn't realize that until you brought it up, Miguel. And I was looking at the screenshots of how it works if you click the little green icon. And they also don't multiply the rewards, which is interesting because typically in this game they multiply rewards based on bet size, and typically that's how it's done. My guess, my theory is that when they were balancing the whole event system, they wanted to control the inflows of these, precisely control the inflows of these eggs. And so that's why they did it. They were like, look, we're only going to allow so many. And I didn't play the event, but I'm guessing if I was to do it this way, I probably would have spaced out those eggs so that you had to bet high for quite some time to get all of them. So you probably get one fairly soon, and then they just keep spacing them out so it stretches a limited inflow. Um, that's the only thing I can think of, but it's pretty clever. Hopefully players enjoyed it. I mean, the challenge here is like keeping it fun so people don't get frustrated.
Limit could have been a risk reducer too. I mean, if this is, well, I mean, this is a new implementation. They could have been worried about it just blowing up the economy with the multiplier. So that it could be like an adjustment in the next iteration of it. The other thing that came to mind is if this works, which it seemed would it did, there are tons and tons of things that slot machines do to incentivize players to increase their bets. And the slots design report might be getting more popular because we write about this kind of stuff all the time. And I think, slot machines, they don't get enough credit. Before I was involved in slot machines, I didn't think much of them myself. But then when I got into it, like they're really complicated. This is like the simplest version of a slot machine that you can build, a 3x3. Um, and there's a lot of really interesting and innovative things that go on in slot machines. And I mean, Playtika kind of leads that category in among a couple other companies.
I'm just thinking there is another reason to do something like this, and that is, if their goal here was potentially, broader engagement with the app, or, they wanted to drive revenue but indirectly, you could limit the inflows through the core. So it's great advertising to show it on the reels to make it have this interesting, like fun new spin wheel. That's super cool. But they probably make so much revenue from these other sources, making those still important. Um, and then we're going to talk about the battle pass, which they probably they wanted to save, as much capacity on the egg inventory as possible for that. So that's another reason to sort of put a limit on it.
Just so you know, the feature on the quest map, tokens fill a meter tied to the player's current map tile. So here's the map like screen. Completing this meter grants rewards for the base game and advances players to the next tile. Reaching the end of the map awards a final prize. Um, this is talking about the unified engagement, which we kind of talked about, which Egg Hunt really encourages a short burst of engagement. And jump in if you guys have anything to add here. But the next slide, we're going to talk about the battle pass, which I think is super interesting. But Egg Hunt really encourages a short burst of engagement across CoinMaster with all of their live ops catalogs, or 8 of them being integrated. In addition to these events, chain offers, which someone asked about what chain offers are, and chain offers are essentially offers or rewards that you have to do linearly. Typically, it's like a free, 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 paid, free, free, paid, free, paid type system. We have a whole product toolkit on them if you're interested in learning more. They run every day, and they give players a consistent way to accelerate their progress through spend. So obviously there's base game engagement, which is really interesting here, event engagement, and then also just pure spend that's going to reward. And in terms of integrating lots of events, we've seen this in other markets work really well. An example in the core market is from Cookie Run, where they integrate a bunch of different events, which is this right here, and saw a big lift in revenue. So the Battle Pass. So near the end of Egg Hunt, Coin Master launched a one-day Battle Pass with substantial token rewards. The Battle Pass offers significantly more tokens compared to other linked events. To give you an idea, the pass's final 3 tiers alone awarded 650 event tokens, more than 4x the combined total of the first 13 tiers. Competition event and the win streak event rewarded 15 and 45 tokens respectively. So this was a very rewarding battle pass and pay element.
It's a great way to finish up an event. It's very powerful because it leverages, first of all, very familiar mechanics of the battle pass. Battle pass by itself, it's a whole discussion. There is a lot to think about when we design a battle pass. And by the way, CoinMaster are doing a beautiful job in that, also in their normal battle pass. So in very shortly, a battle pass, you can use it to drive effort of the player, meaning you put very high and ambitious goals for the player to achieve in order to progress in the battle pass. Or you can make it easier, let's say, more attainable for more players, and you aim more for the KPI of just selling the premium. So you let a lot more players to complete that, just because players who complete the battle pass have much more incentive to purchase it. So and in addition, battle passes are also used to help navigate the player journey in the game. So you have tasks. Let's say some games have tasks mainly on the core, just play in the core and progress in the battle pass. And other types of tasks in the battle pass can be to engage with other events, to purchase, to win in tournaments, etc., etc. So we can see here that they combined everything and made it super short. So you have to do a lot of things to complete this battle pass, basically. And in addition, it is very dense and helps to. It's almost mandatory if you want to complete the event. You need this battle pass, basically. And it helps to take everyone, and let's say even people that were not fully engaged in the event, they have this one day to give their full effort, to go crazy, and they see a lot of wins along the way. It's another thing that helps the player be more and more engaged with it. You have the wins from the event, you have wins from the linked events, and you have the battle pass that you constantly progress through very fast, because it's just a one day battle pass. It's not something for a month. So you have very quick wins there. It creates a lot of momentum, and because the awards from this battle pass are huge, as you mentioned before, relative to the other progress that you made all week, you feel like you are going crazy. You feel that you are so excited. You're doing a lot of progress in a day, and there's a huge FOMO here. You will probably sit and spend everything, all the energy you have, everything, just to take advantage of this battle pass, and through it feel like you won the event like a superstar. So I love it. I love it.
You hit all my points and some. It's really interesting. and clever, and I'm still sort of digesting what they did here. I think the 1 day question you brought up, Brett, I'm not 100% sure. I think there's some good questions in the chat where people are asking like what day of the week was it? Because the timing there probably matters. I'll tell you one thing though about 1 day is it's satisfying. If it was like more than 1 day for the amount they might want to ask, it might be too much. But just for 1 day, people could probably go all in and get that excitement that he was describing. So I think, yeah, I agree. It's a great way to end an event. It probably was a surprise. I'm not sure you could do this every time. Um, it's probably more repeatable as a 1 day event than if it was longer, because then, yes, I think people might wait and anticipate it. But the other thing I like about this is it's pay to win, but it's not as obvious. Like they're not selling eggs in the store. It's like, hey, pay to participate. And then that participation path, as you mentioned, it drives, it's weighted towards the end. And so it drives other forms of spend. So you're paying, but it's just not direct. And I think that's potentially could drive overall conversion rate. Like people who don't always spend might feel more compelled. It's more fun to spend this way. So yeah, it was a brilliant stroke on this event.
It's something we've seen in the past, not with battle passes, but with other longer events where we've seen products or apps or games released IP packages at the end of the event that players can purchase. So it's certainly a proven mechanic that we've written about before. And this is just an evolution of that with the Battle Pass. I think the Battle Pass is a little bit different because it involves this progression element to it. But it is proven to kind of end at or drop something at the end. To clarify, it was the last day and it was on a Tuesday. And Goldie, which you mentioned, Shane brought up a good point. There's like a surprise element to it that just might not work. I think also if you think about a successful and exciting game or progression, the variance of the game increases towards the end. And this really allows that to happen, right? If you were really behind in the event and you came in on Tuesday and you wanted to finish the event in that 1 day, like we're assuming they missed the first couple days, they could use this to complete it. So in some ways, it allows people who might have not progressed far enough or things like that, and it's kind of a benefit for them, not in addition to the people who just want to finish it and get to the end. But I love this too, Yigal. I think this is I love that you've been using this word a lot, but it is beautiful designed from a product
Yeah.
standpoint.
And I would like to even add something additional. You raised a very good question. Is this risky? Because it makes the players basically, after one time, the players already understand this dynamic that basically the majority of their energy for this event is going to come from this battle pass, and it's on the last day. So what will happen in the next event? Will they wait, basically, because they know it's going to come? Will they wait for it? So I think it can actually work pretty well because it's something that the player feels like he cheated the system. Oh my God, I will wait until the last day. But actually, the result is that in the last day, they need to go crazy and make a huge effort. So the game actually really benefits from it as well. It's a very good balance between making the player happy and even feel skilled and that he's beating the system, and bottom line, still having a lot of fun and doing all the effort that we need them to do, plus purchase the battle pass. So everybody is got when they finish this event, the players are happy probably, and the coin master is really happy. So I love when things like that, synchronize.
Another event that did really well that we highlighted in the impact was Better Together. The main component of this that I want to talk about is that teams of 2 players complete missions to earn individual rewards. But this is where it gets interesting. Players can participate by themselves or pair up. 2 missions in each set remain locked until players have a teammate. then players without a teammate can make progress on these missions but cannot redeem the rewards. So there's a really interesting element again that you can progress by yourself, but you can progress past things that are unlocked by yourself, but you can't unlock certain missions and you can't receive rewards without a partner.
These kind of cooperative events, they are super trendy and popular. And we see here a little bit of an evolution on that, that I think tries to solve some of the biggest pain points that we see in those cooperative events. The fact that you can pretty much do the event by yourself, and also that the contribution of each team member is limited. You only have your tasks that you can do, and the pressure for you to find the teammate is not so dramatic as we see in other cooperative events. So basically, it means that when I look for a partner, I don't have a huge pressure to find the most amazing and crazy partner, because what they need to do is basically complete some tasks, but it's not it's very limited, and not like in other cooperative events that as you bet and play on in the core, you will go crazy, and some people can really carry the event by themselves, and so you feel a real pressure to find a very strong partner. Otherwise, you feel that you're going to miss the event. Here, it's a lot more relaxed. You just need a partner that is, will do something. So it makes the player feels a little bit less stressed, I think. And also, it makes the crazy players feel not so bad maybe when their partner is not very engaged. Sometimes it's a very bad feeling that you give everything you have to the event, but your partner not so much. And here in the same mechanic, because they limit the contribution, it's not that bad. Even if your partner is not the most engaged, and you are, the difference between you will not be that extreme, and you will not feel like you're carrying a useless person with you. So I think this limiting is just to make the event a little bit friendlier and take off some of the bad things players can feel in the normal cooperation events.
There's some things I like about it. First, I'll give my sort of perspective. I didn't play this event, but from what I can gather here, it seems like this was focused on reactivation. And by only asking for one friend and allowing you to participate by yourself, they tried to cast the widest net of cinders possible. And like you said, by limiting, it keeps the bar really low. So it's like I can invite, I mean, who knows how many invites you have to send to get one person. So they're going to win either way. You're not going to get a lot of backlash because of the hard gate. I mean, it's basically a hard gate, which works really well, but it's risky. And so I think they mitigated that risk by giving you something to do on your own, only asking for one friend. So there's a lot of good there. And it seems like the bar is very low. They just want you to participate. The only other thought is it does remind me of what I've seen in some other games around challenges for clubs, where it's like a very specific objective. The bar's low, and it's really just to drive social engagement and to keep the club active. So yeah, my takeaway is this was a well-crafted reactivation, probably a reactivation event.
And just to add the small point from before is that cooperation events, they actually have a little bit of a hidden competition element in them as well, because you see, you want to be the best from your friends, like I contributed the most. And this event, it also minimizes that. So I fully agree with Shane that it's like taking the good things that work in a corporation and putting them in a very low stress, low low demand environment, just to cast a wide net and make sure that almost every player will enjoy that without too much competition, pressure, and feeling that you're disappointing somebody if you are not engaged fully.
This is certainly an evolution of a couple different things in the market that have been very successful, from Zen Master, Royal Match, that we talk about in the report as well. A major point in marketing is that they're really leaning on playable ads. They dominate CoinMaster's marketing strategy. In March, they were 64% of the total impressions, and you can see that they focused in on mini games, and then in April, kind of the same thing, but they transitioned to this sort of wheel-based stuff. And then web shop insights, which are becoming obviously much more important now that we're seeing some tailwinds with Apple. So, Jasmine, you want to chat a little bit about the web shop?
Yeah, for sure. And Shane and Igal, I'd also love to get your thoughts on the web shop too. I think I saw in the screenshots there, whoever game that was had access to it. I was very excited when I finally got access at level 210. I think I played like 8 straight hours in order to unlock it a few weeks ago for some research. Um, so what we say at Stash, when I was saying earlier, is we're all about growing web shops. The way we look at it is that there's always two levers to pull, and I think that CoinMaster does a really good job at pulling both of these levers. One is reducing friction, and one is increasing motivation. So on the first screen here, I have two slides. I'm showing you guys how they're actually getting users from the game into the web shop. Right now, it doesn't seem like CoinMaster has like taken advantage of the new iOS US guidelines that lets them go like straight to a shop. And they're using kind of the old rules, which says go to something that's like non-shop related, for example, a loyalty program or rewards page, etc. So basically for them, once you get to level 210, you see on your little home screen here, you get access to this icon. There's also like another way to go through the like hamburger menu, the in-game menu. You click on this icon, you get this cute little pop-up that tells you, yay, gifts and exclusive perks. And then it takes you to the loyalty program / the web shop. So in terms of reducing friction, it's nice to see that it's very easy for players to get there. There's a lot of entry points from the game. Also, signing in is quite easy. They have like a passwordless, just like log in through the game, and it's like a deep link or like a social login. So like through Facebook, which if you're like a coin master master, you would have your Facebook connected, like I did. And the fact that it unlocks at level 210 as opposed to being just like open and available for everyone, it really creates that like FOMO and sense of exclusivity, especially for the VIP players, which we know like runs, these are like the casino games obviously care very much about their VIPs and all of the VIP account manager teams that they have also. So the FOMO worked on me. I have spent too much money in this game. Thankfully, Stash pays for it. So yeah, so nice to see kind of how they're using it, and I'll be really interested to see like if they make it even just like not to the loyalty shop and be more aggressive on straight up payments from the game to the web shop. So like what we're seeing in some other games, they would do like side by side pricing, like pay in the game or pay in the web shop and get an extra whatever. Maybe that's coming soon. So we're keeping our eyes out for that. All right, so if we're looking at the web shop itself, what does it look like inside? If you guys haven't seen, here are a few screenshots that I took. Obviously, I'm not that far. I'm still in the bronze loyalty tier. I need to step up my game. Some other ways that I really like what CoinMaster is doing in terms of reducing friction is you can see that the offers look and feel really familiar. So all the way on the right there, you see a chained offer, kind of like what we were talking about before, but it's on the web. So it feels like something that's part of the game. I know as a user how to use this offer. I like know that it's legit and it like makes me like because it's so branded, it's very compelling. I don't have a screenshot here, but if you would click the little like bronze icon on the top left, you'd get like a little mini tutorial on how this whole loyalty program works, which is essentially, you know, buy stuff, engage, collect points, earn rewards, loop like that. So it makes it much easier for the player to understand like what the hell is going on here, especially as now, of course, web shops are becoming like more and more common among games, but it's still the early days in terms of educating players. So as much education as you can do, the better. So very nice that CoinMaster does that. And then when I actually go to make a payment, I have like all my payment details saved so that I can really easily do like kind of one-click payments. Something interesting about CoinMaster is actually their payments page is not branded. Right now it's through Stripe. So I'm curious if they'll also, like they have such nice branding on the shop, continue branding payments to the end. And in terms of increasing motivation, so how do I actually like convince players to like get out of the game and engage here and spend money and all of that? Um, CoinMaster does a lot of really great things. One is the tier benefits. So you can see in that middle, all of the different tiers they have from bronze to diamond and all the different benefits you get in each tier. So on diamond, for example, like if you reach all the way to diamond, and I think it would take so much money and so long, you get access to like a VIP account manager, which is awesome, and a bunch of other great things. And like we said before, it's like the holy grail for players. You know, they've made it that far. So the benefits are like actually rewarding and compelling and something that players will want to spend their time going through. Um, and the milestones too, you can see those little check marks there. So it might take me like a long time to get to silver, but at least I'm getting things in the way that keep me going. So I'm not like, ugh, it's taking me forever, I'm done. There's like more progression that I get even within the bronze loyalty tier. You also have a daily gift, which has become like quite, I would say, common, but something I also really like about theirs is the daily loyalty missions. So this is kind of like a free-to-play way to get loyalty points. Otherwise, I would need to pay. You see there, the this is in shekels because I'm in Israel, 107 shekels for the thing on the right, and I get 3,000. Or I can do these loyalty missions and get slowly, but also get some loyalty points that will help me progress in the tiers. And then finally, something that CoinMaster does, which is very interesting, is they only have exclusive offers on the web shop. So most other web shops will at least have some offers that are also similar to the ones in game. These ones, at least the way they brand it, and I've done some double checking as well, is none of them are available in the game. And the rewards and the benefits of these offers are really good actually and quite compelling. So there's a lot of reasons that players are going to want to come here and get over that initial friction of like needing to leave the game and sign in and all the other things that a web shop would make them do. So it's really nice to see how they're balancing these two levers, and I think it's a very good case study for anyone who's interested in improving their own web shop.
And like I said at the beginning, I'm always amazed that it takes an hour. Yigal and Shane, what are your last thoughts on these two events? Like some of the things you thought were beautiful or most innovative, or
The only thing I can say to finalize is that both of these are actually evolutions of very familiar and events that many games are now copying and running. And evolutions are great because they allow you to test, they allow you to refine, they allow you to accommodate the events to your audience, to your game. Some things that work great for Monopoly Go with their amazing partner events may not work exactly the same for you. So these evolutions are I think, attempts at trying to take a very, known and tested and true template and customizing it. I think the more the merrier. And in your games, if you do that and try and add small adjustments to known templates, 80% known and true, 20% innovative and spicy, I think it's a great way to progress the game.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great strategy. Only thing else to add, I'd say, is I think both of these features and the web store are just great examples of what excellent execution looks like. We have a top team focused on clear KPIs they're trying to move, taking what's known, that 80%, and then delivering a really great result. Like it really shows, the level of effort that they put in.
Amazing, amazing events and awesome roundtable panel. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being on the panel, guys, and Jasmine. It was amazing. Super, like so much information we got through in an hour.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Brett.
everybody.
Thank you, Brett, for guiding us.